Hello everyone, it's Friday, happy Friday. Welcome to this week's theme workshop where we can all come together, talk about and learn about LaunchBox and Big Box theming, and hopefully that we can come out of each one learning a little bit more about it. This is a place where you can come, ask your questions, and I will do my best to answer. How is everybody doing this Friday? It's Halloween this week. I hope everybody's prepared for that. How are you guys doing? Regs, Edward, Diedrich, Jay's Arcade, welcome in. Glad to see all you guys here. So hopefully I put together something this week that will accomplish a couple things. The first one is, I know Mr. Retrolust, hopefully make him proud, and we do have a Halloween theme, Big Box theme that I will be creating today. But at the same time, what I'll be adding to this theme will be something that I don't think I've done before, so something that you can probably learn from and add to potentially spark some ideas for your own themes. Tim, hopefully you're doing well today. Welcome in. So yeah, let's jump right in. And remember, at any time, if you have any questions about theming, just post in the comments here or post down after in the comments of this video, and I'll do my best to answer. So let's take a look. God of War, you haven't seen LaunchBox streams for years. Yes, we started these back up in the summer. These are not the same as when Jason did his programming, but hopefully it'll help anybody out that wants to start their own theme for Big Box or LaunchBox. So Halloween, it's coming in a few days, so let's try to do something Halloween themed. Now, what I did ahead of time, just disclaimers, I went and I downloaded some spooky stuff. Got some Halloween background music, which you are currently listening to right now. I downloaded some scream sounds, a background video, some of this fog. Let's see what I can do with it. See if I can add this to a theme and make it seem like something you could actually use while still being theme appropriate. Now, it's been a rough October, as people have followed throughout this month. I have got sick at the beginning of the month, and a cough has remained with me every single week. This week is no different, so if you do see me coughing in the background, that's essentially what's happening. Alright, let's start up a new theme. Like always, we are going to build this one with the community theme creator. This is downloaded from the from our website, from our community forums. I believe that there's a link down in the description. So you can always download a copy of the community theme creator, follow along with this video. I don't know what to call this. I'll just call this scary. Dark and scary. How about gloomy? And then in the notes, you could actually write like a dark and gloomy Halloween inspired theme. And this will just show up in the, I believe, in the top of your files in the code. And Jazz, how you doing? Welcome in. Happy Friday. And Tim, your mom's birthday would be the 31st, I assume, of this month. That's kind of crazy. So she's always shared Halloween. You can write and give thanks here. Again, I believe this is just for adding it to your code base at the top. So you could just, I don't know, I thank the month of October. And that's it. This is what you'll see. Basically, no views are created. You'll have to create everything from scratch. Let's start with a wheel games view. Switch over to something that I have graphics for. I don't know, is there a Halloween themed? There's not. But this is a good game, so let's click that. Should have some graphics for that. Let's go in. Oh, she was a twin too. Gonna start getting into creepy territory. And Jazz, what are you saying? Can you make all of the backgrounds look like the one displayed? So when you say the one displayed, what was displayed? And while you answer that, I will explain here again that you'll always get these two mandatory elements on this view. Different views have mandatory elements, and you will have to do something about it. Normally you'll get this element, which is the index, and I'll just place it here for now, actually. You can see right in the middle. And then this one is the wheel, which currently we just have to visualize in our head until we can get it into Big Box. I'm not sure what to do with this one yet, to be honest. We'll see. Oh, so if you're talking about this one, this image here, like my desktop image, so what are you wanting to do with this image? You could take this image and you could put it in the background of you could put this in the background of LaunchBox or Big Box, really. Alright, let's jump back in, unless I'm not understanding what you're wanting to do with the image. Yeah, we can do a lot of stuff with that image. Let's get some background stuff in here. So, I decided to go with a... Oh, the opening scene. Yeah, that's a video. You can do lots of stuff with that as well, yeah. Now, if you're wanting, I can write that down as a potential... Let's see. Like to build a theme around the opening background video, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, I can do that in the future. Alright, so I did decide to do a video. If you have your own video, you will have to use this user-defined video element and not the selected item video. Selected item video will display the game's video that you're selected. Okay, so there's two things that you can do. Now, if you want an image as a background, you can see here, I went and clicked on image, it created an element. You can put it on the bottom. The further down at the bottom, the more in the background the image will be. And then you can just hit full screen right here if you're building a theme and you want an image. Now, it's saying that there's not an image available. You would have to go into your media image folder. There's a little link here, media browser folder button. Opens up here. I create a folder, doesn't matter what it's called, I usually call it theme, and you would place your image, whatever it is, in here. And in this case, I do have a bunch of stuff I need to transfer over here. Okay, so I'm just going to transfer these over to the new... There we go. And now they are selectable in here. So you can see the theme folder now, and here you can see a bunch of stuff that I have. In this case, all images, need to be in a PNG format for it to function. Now, if you want videos to play, so in colorful theme, there's two things. Now, depending on what you were talking about, if you're talking about the platform view or if you're talking about the actual games view. So in the platform view, there's just essentially a video. And that video contains the color, like it's a 1080p or a 4K video that contains the color and the like the box set, the TV or whatever. That's actually in the video itself. And then inside of the box or inside of the TV or computer or whatever, there's gameplay footage playing. But in essence, the whole view is just one giant video. So in that case, he would have just created a selected item video source and then put it in the background, full screen. So he wouldn't have to have messed with a bunch of images and stuff and tried to overlay, which you could do that. And in fact, let me think. No, I'm not currently doing. I'm doing something sort of similar to that with the colorful theme in my spare time. Okay, but like essentially what he would do is this. You take this user-defined video and he would just make it full screen. So he would go up here, make it full screen. And then at the bottom here, he would point to the actual metadata. Yeah, in my case, I'm just going to point it to one video. And that's this background. So I actually don't need this. So I managed to get this sort of kind of looping, eerie image video that I'm going to display in the background here. And it's not scary enough, I think. So I'm going to try to make it a little more scary. Yeah, and Viking, who created the colorful theme, created the entire platform set himself. So one video per platform, created a whole bunch of them. They're over on the community forums, or you're able to just download them from within LaunchBox as well. Stash Dragon, yeah, welcome in. Happy Friday. Yeah, so we're here essentially building a theme for Big Box. And this week we're doing a Halloween-themed Big Box theme. And we're using a program called the Community Theme Creator, which you can find a link for down in the description of this video and any live stream video. And you can download it, install it, and you will be able to do exactly what I'm doing. King Wiki, looks like your backyard. Let's try to make it look less like your backyard. How about that? So we'll start with this in the background. So this is the video background. And I'm going to add an image overlay. Let's do a couple things, actually. Let's be able to control the darkness. I'm going to control the darkness with a rectangle. I'll make it full screen. Whoa, that's really bright. And I will change this color to black. Okay, so we've got a black rectangle essentially on top of everything. And Master X, yeah, welcome in, welcome in. Tim, you think it's thriller-like? Yeah, probably a little bit, isn't it? And Jazz, yeah, you can download them. Yeah, if you go to the Community Theme Creator, you can go and download all the colorful platforms. It's in our download section. Probably in platform videos. All right, so let's make this a little more. There you go. Okay, so it's getting a bit darker, right? Not too bad. And at this point, this rectangle, we can control the darkness depending on what we're going to do next. So let's bring in an image. Actually, I already brought in an image here. We're going to full screen this image, and I want to add a little bit of fog. So I'm going to call this fog 1, because I'm probably going to add multiple fog layers to this. I already created a fog image, don't know why I have 3. Okay, that's a little much at the moment, but let's see what I can do. I think I'd want to reduce the opacity here, so I can reduce the opacity. And it's kind of static, right? You've got the background is moving, but this isn't moving. So maybe we can solve that with some animations. I mean, 50% is probably good here. Yeah, and Master, is there a way to create start, pause, and start up shutdown screens in the creator itself? Not yet. Now, it is something that I know Dave, who's the creator of the creator, would like to do, and it just hasn't had time to do it. He's currently, his laptop broke, if anybody was following, and he has not been able to update the program in a little while. So he sort of he did start a campaign. If anybody wants to look or has not looked yet, let me see if I can find it. And I know that he's very anxious to get his theme, or to get a new laptop so he can continue working on this. It is a community-driven project, so I believe he posted it somewhere here. Yeah, here. So he's unable to support the community theme creator until he can get a laptop. He opened up his own GoFundMe to try to pad the costs so it's not so much for him. And yeah, if you've used the community theme creator at all over the last few years he's been doing it, you know, definitely, you know, throw a few bucks his way, and it would really help. All right. Yeah, Jay's right. Yeah, we all want him to come back, and I know he's, you know, chomping at the bit to try to. He really wants to get going. Like, it's his hobby to create this program, right? So imagine if you just couldn't do your hobby all of a sudden. You like the Baywatch font for the logo? Yeah, it's a nice font that sort of just stashes itself here, so I don't mind it. Okay, so yeah, what could we do? We could make it, what are the suggestions here? We could make it flicker. The whole thing flicker. The font, let's look at the font. The font's like, doesn't look like, or the font, the fog, it doesn't look like it's moving, so let's actually move it. So how can we move this? I can essentially go down to the animation section here, and I can say, well, immediately when this page loads, run the animation immediately, and let's see if we can move it from left to right. Now this movement will scale based on your monitor. So I've got a 2K monitor. That means that my width of my monitor is, I believe, 2560 pixels wide. If you have a 1080p, you'll have a 1920 pixels wide. And the way that the numbers work here is that the top left is always the number it's referring to. So in this case, it's at the top left, which is just a 0. So I can start it at 0, and I can basically say move it off the screen to minus 2560. So that'll basically move it to the left until it's completely off the screen. And I can tell it to take like a while, maybe 20 seconds. Does a system support GIF files or GIF files? Yes, it does. Now, it doesn't support it that well. So if you imagine what a GIF file is essentially a bunch of images that are sort of displaying one after the other. So let's say your GIF image is like 100 different shots of something. What the renderer has to do is it has to load each shot like one at a time, and that takes time. So like there's an initial performance hit for every one that you add. It's not too much if your size of your file is small, but just have to keep that in mind. Alright, so let's take a look at whether this actually worked. Now you'll see it has not moved yet. Yet the animation's there, and that's because any movement animation is disabled on the edit screen. And you can enable it here if you want. You can go up to the top, click the editor, and say include animations with movement. There's also a hotkey, Alt-I. I'll use the hotkey here and see what I got. So you see now it's starting to move. It's moving to the left. Not too bad. Of course, now how am I gonna fill in that gap? Like, it's just going away. I don't want it to go away. I mean, I do want it to go away, but I want it to come back at the same time. So how would I do that? Well, I'm gonna have to make another layer. So let's just copy and paste the layer we have, since it's got all the properties that I already want. So here's my fog number 2. That's a great question, Stash Dragon. Is a GIF more process intense compared to a video? And surprisingly, yes it is. You wouldn't think so, like if you had a 1 megabyte or a 500k GIF, like, it's not much, right? But when it loads it into something that I can actually play, it's like that temporary file of it loading is so much larger than the actual file. Like, the player is just not that great. But hey, it works. But yeah, if you're going for something full screen, I would definitely recommend a video. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Diedrich, you're saying have another fog background move in from the right after the first. That's a great idea. So let's use this fog and we'll do the same thing, but in this case, instead of starting at 0, we will start it at 2560 at the right side of my screen. And let's see how that way. I mean, we'll take the same amount of time. And in fact, that actually will not work, because we would want, this is moving half as much. So let's try to move this half the time to take. So 12.5 seconds. I'm pretty sure I did 25. No, I didn't. I said 20. So let's bring it to 25. So now let's see what happens. Okay. There you go. There's a little hole over it, but you know, not terrible. But of course now we just made it longer. Right, Tim? Yeah, it's almost it's very similar to Adobe, to Photoshop if you're very used to Photoshop. Can you animate the opacity? You can animate the opacity. Yeah, you can. So, and you could do it in the same spot. Not only can you animate the opacity, you can animate what triggers your animations, which is something we'll have to do eventually. Okay, so we'll loop it. That's a good idea. So let's turn off animate. You'll see here that I can't modify this property because, you know, it might be anywhere on the screen right now. So I got to turn off the movement to animations, the hotkey. There you go. We'll go to fog number 2. And so I can take this, and I do have a repeat option. So here we go. I got a repeat option. Perfect. So it's going to repeat. Let's see what that looks like. We're working through this. So far, so good. Looking good. All right. And eventually it's going to repeat, right? Oh, Christ. So now it's starting to go away because that one's still going. Oh, and now it's came back. Okay. I feel like we're almost there. Yeah, I mean, Stash Dragon, what if I created a large circular image of the fog and spun it in place? Would that load better since it's one large image versus two images? You could, yeah. Yeah, if you did that, that would help. Now, we are loading the same image, so in this case, I mean, two ways to do similar things. Loading two images statically like this won't take a huge hit. It's really the GIF that will cause a big problem. And we're almost there, I think. There's two ways I could probably fill in this gap. Anybody have any suggestions? Oh, Jazz, yeah. We can definitely do that as well. Make a multiple layers of fog, different kinds of fog. That'd be pretty cool, right? And won't this need to loop to cover? Yeah, so we could definitely do that. Let's see what that looks like. So let me repeat this one. So far, so good, right? Oh, okay. You just kind of saw it like flash in the middle of the screen, and I believe it's doing that because that first image actually starts in the middle of the screen and then goes to the right. So it's not quite doing what we want. So there's two ways that I feel we could probably solve this. The first way I think we can solve this is, okay, we wouldn't want that to happen. But what we could want is, let's do this the easier way that I'm thinking of. We don't want this to repeat, but we do want another copy to fill in that last gap. Let's just call it Fog 3. And this copy we actually want to not start until about 12.5 seconds in. So after the first image, or the second image has moved to the exact center of our screen, then start a third image to come from the right and move in. So this is one way that you could do it. Have the same amount of duration, but we're just starting at a slightly delayed time, and then have that one repeat. Now let's see what that looks like. I think we're doing pretty good. I haven't seen a break yet. Alright, I think we have a winner. So that is one way you could do it. You could also take this image, and let's just so that you guys have a different way that you could do this. So instead of showing this one, you could take the first one, create another timeline, start it at 12.5, and say, I want you to move left and right, but I want you to start at 2560 and move to minus 2560 for the same 25 seconds. Ernesto, welcome in. Glad you can join it on this Halloween-themed live stream. And now I'm using the same layer to go from the middle to the left, and then making it appear over on the right, and then starting a loop cycle. Now, one thing I forgot to do is that this one timeline I do want to make repeat. So the first one will happen only once, the second one will happen on repeat. And then I could essentially delete this third image layer, and I should get the same results. Let's find out. There you go. Yeah, so I got the same sort of results there with 2 images. I'm going to organize my layers just a little bit. I'm going to call this one my overlay with my rectangle. Darkness layer. And then I'm going to have a fog. Bring this down here. This will be my fog group. And I'll bring this after I delay. Get rid of that. Alright, so far so good. We'd almost have to, right? If you're looking at that gap, right? But by doing that, you would increase the gap on the other side. So probably not the best thing to do. However, we could do this. We could create more copies of the fog to fill in that gap. And let's just see how it works. Let's say from 0 to 2560. But let's start this one. I mean, let's offset this, right? Minus 50 to 2510. And see how that looks. Okay, so are we liking the different ways that the fog's moving? I could... Or do we want the fog to move? I feel like I'd rather have the fog move in the same direction, but at a slower speed. So we could do 25 or 26. Sorry, 26, 10. And we'll move it to minus 50. But we'll make it take... Actually, this is the immediate one. So we'll make it plus 50 and then a minus to 610. And then we'll make it take even slower amount of time, maybe 15 seconds. I mean, let's just check to see what that first one will look like. So it does fill in that gap a little bit. So because of that, then I can come back here, start it at the 15 seconds, bring it up to 30 seconds. And then we'll do the same sort of thing. We'll start it off the screen at 2610, and we will leave it off the screen. Oh, I'm going to have to leave it off the screen. So I'm going to have to add a little bit of I guess we'll do that, which means we'll do that as well. And that should work. Or stretch the width of one of the fog layers. Now, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. But this will provide maybe, hopefully, a little bit more depth. So what I'm hoping is maybe I can bring this one layer down to 30, and you should sort of see... Actually, let's bring this up, see what happens. Oh, wrong layer. Bring this one up just to see what it'll look like. So it's filling in that gap there. And it might not be moving as slow as I want it to. Let's do even slower. Yeah, Tim, yeah, no scrubbing the timeline or visual editor. I mean, what's going to happen with this is it's essentially going to turn everything that I'm doing here into code. And obviously, Diedrich, that's a good suggestion to stretch it, but then what you'd find is since you stretch it across, now you have to deal with the animation's timer to make it so that the fog doesn't disappear while it's on the screen. So now it's stretched. I would have to increase something to make it fully escape the screen before bringing it back. Alright, so let's double this. And let's see how that looks. Gives it something. I mean, let's do the same thing with the second one and see what we got in total. So we'll take the second one, make a copy of it, put it down here. We'll adjust the timers. This will repeat. This one's already doing the repeat that we want it to. So now we should see kind of 2 layers going at different speeds across the screen with quite a lot of fog, I must say. Have a window through the fog to see behind. Now, is that possible? It would be possible, yeah. Now, since it's moving, it might be less possible to do that. Because if you're going to apply the image mask onto the actual image and the image is moving, then that image mask will also be moving. So we would have to devise another plan to sort of trick it into making it feel like it's moving. It's kind of funny that some layers are moving at different speeds. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. It's actually not bad. Alright, and then the last thing that I'd want to do is to sort of do the same sort of trick to another layer, but this time with a different fog. So let's try that. And in this case, I don't really need to do exactly what I did before. Oh, okay. It didn't take the timer. That's probably why it was doing that. Really doesn't like the timer there. All right. Will this be the main background of the theme? Yeah, this will be the main background of the theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the music that I have just playing here. So it's going to get silent here. And there's a reason I'm doing that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this fog image. So this is a different fog, an alternate fog. It's not quite the same. It's one of these anyway. Let me double check which one it is. It is fog number 2. So that's the different one. I'm going to place it on top. It has this sort of black darkness to it, as you can see, giving it another kind of layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to just make it zoom by at a completely different speed than anything else, really. Let's do something in between. Doesn't really have to match anything. And there I found the trick of, is it this one? Yeah, this one. Or I did not. All right, so we'll just create a new one. We'll do left to right, do 60. Doesn't like the the one on this one. That's okay, not gonna fight it. But let's take a look. I mean, what does this exactly look like? Let's find out. So you've got multiple layers of fog. Each one is doing a different speed, and one layer has a completely different background that you're only slightly seeing amongst the fog. Okay, so now that we did that, let's do something that I don't think I've ever shown before. And that's, while in your animation, you can kind of trick it into playing background sound. So I could embed music into my theme if I wanted to. This is strictly, a community theme creator plugin feature that Dave has implemented in here. I've never tested it, so I'm hoping that it works. Actually, we've tested it a little bit. It's been a while. But let's go to that first fog. I know that it's always going to be there, so I'm going to jump into its animations, and right away, I'm going to add an audio animation. It's funny to call it audio, but we'll start it right away. And I'm going to look for my Halloween background music. And you can see it's telling me what the audio length is. And I'm just going to mostly match that. I mean, it's fairly long, so it's an hour and a half. And I'm going to make it repeat. And then if I press OK, what you'll notice is that the music, I'm not sure if I have music playing or if there's a music playing option here. There is. So there's an audio. So if I turn that on, now you're hearing the music again. But the music this time is coming from the theme itself, embedded in this fog layer. I could have added it to any layer. So where do you put your images for the theme creator to find it? So as soon as you create, and I'll show this again. So as soon as you create your theme, so you go up here and you create your theme and a new theme. It creates the folder structure for you, and the easiest way to find it is if you add any sort of image. So if all of these are images, but if you added an image, that's going to be annoying that the sound will repeat every time that it has to refresh. But it's there. I've proved that it's there, which is good. I'll turn on the other one instead so that it's not repeating. Oops. Yeah, so sorry. So you'll see this media folder browse button. If you click that, it will open a folder directly inside of your media folder. So if you look here, wherever you place community theme creator, inside of that there'll be a my themes project folder. Inside of that there'll be the folder of the name of your theme, and inside of that there'll be a media folder, and you would place a folder in there. In this case I placed a folder called theme. This custom image assets folder is there by default, and that's for something different. It's not for actual creating themes, it's for creating logos. So this program, if anybody doesn't know, can also bulk create logos or marquees or whatever that you want based on whatever setting that you want from your LaunchBox images. And I showed that in the past a few times, and it's wonderful. If you want to create bezels for all of your games, you could do that using this program. Okay, so we have a lot of fog. That's basically all I'm seeing right now when there's no animation. But there's also something else about Halloween, isn't there? Like, wouldn't you want to also get some... you would want to get frightened a little bit. So what I did was I'll create a new group, and inside of this group I'll have... let's just start with one image, and the image will contain one of my images in here. Okay, so I got this scary baby looking thing, which I think is pretty funny. Scary baby. And it's just sort of there. I don't know, where should I put it? I can probably find a better spot if I didn't have the fog layers there. So what I can actually do is there's this little hide element. Now this is... we'll only hide it in the editor. It won't ever hide it if you've published your theme. They'll always be there. Actually, I don't have to do it per layer. I can do it per group. So I'll just click that off, and there. Now I can sort of position my baby where I want it to be. Let's see. So let me... I can move this off my screen if you have two monitors so I can see everything. And let's see where we can put our baby. Never thought I would say that on this stream. Maybe in this dark area right here. So I'll bring back the menu. Found the spot. I'm going to start it off, I think, at a 50% opacity. Okay, so that looks okay. Although maybe it's too much. Okay, that looks better. So 75 opacity. And what I can do is I can make it appear at random points while people are going through their games. So for this one, I'm just going to make it randomly appear. So I'm going to make it an immediate trigger, so run this animation right away, but I'm going to take the opacity and I'm going to make it 0 right away. So essentially, if I save this, it says once it's loaded, take the opacity, bring it down to 0, and then do nothing. Oh. There. So it's gone. I can take the same one, start a new strip here. Maybe it flickers in and out of existence. Perfect. So let's say at about 12 seconds, we will make it flicker in and out. How about that? So from, so no fading. We won't even make it a fade. We'll just make it appear. So in this case, we'll make it appear from at 12 seconds. We'll take 0 seconds to do it. So exactly at 12, put it up to 100%. And then maybe 12 point, let's do 1. Bring it back to 0 from whatever the current opacity was to 0. And then at 12.2, we'll bring it back in from 0 to 100. 12.3. So far we've got it appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing. So at 12, 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, 12.4, and then we'll make it appear one more time, and then make it disappear one more time. At 12.5. So just for that, let's just see if we did that right. So see if it appears. Okay, it did. It's very freaky. But, like you're saying... Sorry. Maybe a random sound appears. Can we do that? We can do that, right? I just showed you how you can do audio. So you can come in here, do another one. We can say, okay, so at 12 seconds, right? So let's see if it matches. Let's try to do a 12-second one. I've got a couple screams. I'll use scream number 2. We're gonna give it the amount of time that this actually lasts, so it's 2.714. Can I add another one? I don't even know. Yeah, I can. We will also make this... Okay, so we should hear sounds. Actually, no, I turned off the sounds. So let's turn on the audio, and let's see what happens. It might not match, and we might have to, change the time a little, but we... Okay. Let's give it a shot. So obviously it wasn't the right time, or maybe it was. Maybe what you're saying, Dr. Suicide, that we can do this. We can remove parts of this, and we can make it stay on the screen at let's see. So make it flicker. So off. So on, off, on. Off, on. So let's bring it back here. So once it's back at 12.3 or 12.4, we can also at 12.4 add a rotation. And at the rotation part, we're going to do something like -10 from its current angle to -10. We'll do another rotation from its current angle to +10. 10 might be too much, actually, maybe 5. And this one's got to be at 0.5. And then at the very end, opacity will just make it go away. Actually, we need to center it, don't we? So I'm going to... Actually, we don't need to center it. I can do that later. So at 12.6, we take the opacity and then we bring it down to 0. Okay, so let's just make sure everything looks good. Yep, so this one, while it's at 0, after it repeats itself, I'm going to do something at like 2 seconds where I reset the rotation curve to 0. So every cycle it'll reset it back to 0. I'm a bit under the weather, yeah. Yeah, it's been about a month so far, so got a hot drink here. That happened so quickly. I didn't even see it. But it should repeat itself in 12 seconds, so let's see. See if it matches the second time. I hope it comes back. It is not coming back, so it might just be the editor. I make one change, it'll cycle through it. I kind of missed it. Alright, let's see. Okay, I like that it's so quick. And I think the only thing we need to do with this scary baby is to just adjust the timing slightly. So instead of starting at 12, we'll make it start at 11.7, and we'll see if that does anything. Yeah, that was better. Okay, so now that we have our scary baby, we can essentially use the same concept for one of the other images that I have. So I do have one that is a GIF talking about the conversation that we had. I am going to add the GIF or a GIF here, and so there is an element specifically for that. There it is again. I can essentially take a look in the same folder. It's going to look for anyone that I have in there. So I've got this scary image of whatever that mask is, or what is the other one that I got? Oh, I got this guy. Okay, which one should I use? Imagine this guy just appearing on your screen. I think both are not too bad. This guy's jarring. Let's do something different. Let's make it so it's completely engulfing your screen for just a second. Alright, how about something like that? I don't even know what to call this guy, like the screaming flower man. And what we could do is we could copy from the Scary Baby, just to give you a starting point, and you can paste just the properties. So I could paste the animation properties directly on top of the Scary Man flower element, and it will do the same thing. So now you should be able to see both of them. It should display both of those like that. But we don't want them to be the same, right? We want them to be different. So in this case, if I added, what did I say, 12 seconds. So if I do 24, I mean, let's double that. So 24, we don't want it to do at the same time, so we'll increase it to about 32, let's say, is when I want it all to just start. So if 32 I want it to start, I mean, let's do this. So we're moving this up to 32 seconds. We are going to change it to a different scream. Let's think. Do I need a scream for this one? I realize I have, I'm missing one of the sounds, so let me just double check where that sound would be. Okay, I might have it over here. If I don't, I can go find it again, because I will need 3. I do have 3 images here, so let me just all right. Let's do thunder. Let's hope that we can get a good one. Something like really striking. Oh, there it is. Let's get that one. Alright, so moving back here, we are going to place it inside of the same folder as we placed everything else. So right here, got the nice thunder, just call it thunder. Alright, so there, we've got our thunder sound we can use for this scenario. I'll move this to the thunder. It says that it's 21 seconds. Sure. And we'll have that repeat. Actually, no, we've got this whole board repeating. So what do we want this, what do we want to happen? So instead of at 12, we want this at 32 seconds. Bring in the opacity, 32.1, 32.2, 32.3, 32.4. This one is also 32.4. Actually, that should be 32.5. Anything else? 32.6. Actually, this is 32.7. And then what do we got here? And then we're good. I think we're going to need this to be a little sooner, so maybe at 30. And let's see what we got. Ender Spunk, how are you doing? From Switzerland. Hey, welcome in from Switzerland. Hope you're doing well. And we're just doing a nice Halloween themed. Oh, there's the first scare. Flash to simulate lightning. That's a good idea. So we can definitely do that. I've got a couple ideas on how we can do that. Okay, I think that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Probably went off slightly early, like you couldn't really tell. So by slightly, I could probably do like 30.2, and then it would be fine. So in that case, how would we make it so that lightning actually appears to go off as well? So we could do it like this. Like you could do it with an image. You could do it with a rectangle. So let's try with a rectangle so I don't have to add anything new. Should I put it on top or below? I'm going to put it below the fog, below the darkness level. We're going to create a full screen here. And then we're going to fade it out. Now let's see how it looks with the fog, because I might need to reduce the fog. And let's get rid of that layer for now. I might reduce one of the layers of fog. And it might be these ones. Not bad. But I do see that, I mean, it's very foggy. So I'm going to reduce these ones to about 30%. And so you can just see a bit more, but you can still kind of see this layer of fog. It should still be very foggy, though. Okay, but we do have that sort of middle ground where we can actually put the elements. We haven't even started with the actual menu layout yet, which is kind of funny. The atmosphere is more important than that, right? And we might as well do the third and last one we can do also based off of the Screaming Flower Man. Let's do a third one. We'll just paste the Screaming Flower Man, and this will be that scary mask. Guess we'll put it on the right side, since we haven't had anything on this side yet. Put it on the top just in case someone's looking there. You know, you never know. And in this case, we are going to we're gonna have to change that. So in this case, it'll be the mask, and we just have to adjust the time, change this to the different scream. So we've got scream number 1, I believe. We still need, which it looks like is 9 seconds, 22. I don't know if it'll take that many digits. Okay, it takes that many. And now let's change the actual length. So we don't want this one to appear too often, so we're going to maybe put this at 30. Maybe we'll make this pretty rare, so 53 for now. Okay, so in this case, I just have to move everything to 53, 53.1, 53.2, 53.3, 53.4, 53.5, 53.6, 53.7, and then I think we're okay. Now in saying that, this probably needs to be reduced to 52. Give that a try. And eventually we're going to find out whether that works in about 50 seconds. In the meantime, let's take a look at what we have here. We got 2 of them so far. That scream was way before or way after, eh? So let's see what we can do about that. And by a mile too. So we will probably need to take this and reduce that to almost 40, 48, shaving off another 4 seconds. Almost 47. Let's try 47, and we'll eventually see if that's true. I'm just going to make sure that all this stuff is going to repeat, so it will repeat outside of the editor. Okay, so now we have to actually worry about the layout. So we don't need to see this element because that one's only there once. So let's worry about the wheel element. So we've got choices. We can either make it a horizontal scrolling wheel or we can make it a vertical scrolling wheel. I'm gonna say horizontal is probably what we want here. Just so that it doesn't get in the way. I'm gonna shove that to the bottom here. And then the wheel here, we will shove to the left. And we will push out all the way to the right. So in this case I can also do it with this because I know it's 25, 60. There it goes. So we've got a wheel, horizontal wheel. It's going to use clear logos, which I'm fine with. Okay, I did that a little bit too much. If I had to guess, we'll keep adjusting this, but 48.5. Okay, so for the wheel, it'll be spinning left to right. Did I make it horizontal? I think we'll be okay. So, actually this view is only going to allow me to do to vertical wheel. So what I can do is I can save this. Copy this whole view, switch it over to my horizontal wheel view, and paste the whole view in here. Okay. So now that I did that, I should be able to go to wheel. It is horizontal images, the clear logo, and I can just click this for a nice horizontal image with clear logos. Using this assist button, I should be okay with that. We'll see. It's currently below all the fog items. Maybe I want it to be above 2 of the layers, so I'm going to place it in the middle. Now, everything closer to the top will be more visible. So it's still got some fog there, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. And now we just got to decide what kind of elements do we want to appear on the screen with all of this other stuff going on. Well, let's see what we can do. I'm going to see what happens if I put it under the fog. So new layer, or new group under the fog. We'll call this information, and we'll do the text layer, or the text element. We'll center it up. I'm going to auto size the width and the height to whatever the title is. And we should have some sort of spooky font. But let's switch to metadata, and I'm going to switch to the title. So it's going to display, actually it's not title, it's game. So it should display the game that I currently am on, and I can change the font to anything that I have installed on my computer. I feel like I should have a Halloween font from some point or another. Maybe under S? So I got a scary Halloween font. So let's make this a bit bigger. Make it 60. We can do something really funky with this one. Let's make the colors. I could do a radial gradient. I mean, let's just see what that would look like. Not really exactly what I was hoping for. So let's do a linear gradient. Maybe that's more of what I was thinking of. And I'll put this color on the bottom, this color on the top, and we'll add a few more here. So at the top, I guess I do want it to be dark, and the bottom, I want it to be dark. The middle, we'll start doing some orange colors, and we'll add another orange color here. Okay, so far so good. Bring that in a bit more. Okay, I think the bottom needs to be brought in a lot more. Okay, so that's better. And then we'll do something in the middle here where it's a bit brighter, maybe getting cast out with a light. And we'll move that up a bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drop shadow on this. And I'm also going to mute the audio for now so we don't get screamed at. So we'll put a drop shadow, make sure that it's showing in there. Oops. There we go. And we can even make a copy of this text. So of course this is the game name. We could make this just white. And we'll raise this up maybe a bit to 62. Hey, Ernesto. So we finally got to the beginning portion of actually laying out some elements, menu elements. Not really enjoying this, so let's get rid of that one. Let's put this in a position that we would like. I almost feel like because we're going to need a second fog layer or fog group. And we'll dump these fog layers in there. Let's disable animations for now. There we go. By doing that though, I might want to get rid of this drop shadow. Or make the drop shadow a bit lighter. Oops. Okay, I think that's not too bad. Do something basic. We'll definitely do the box art since we have the clear logo down here. So we'll switch the metadata over to box, game box front. And we'll have to do some parenting here, so let's add a few things that we might want to see in the theme. We'll do a stack. So the stack, we can group elements together over here, and we'll start it something like this. Box art itself, I'm going to give it some breathing room just in case it's a larger box. We'll align it to the right here. And the stack will kind of do the same thing, so I'm hoping that it'll be the same height and width. no matter which box. And let's start adding some elements to it that we would want to see. The first one is probably the text scroller, so we want a description. Put that in the stack. So this will be a game description. No background, white is fine. Switch that to game notes. And we definitely just want a font that's legible. And that's skinny, maybe something like this. Of course, we do have to set a height. Okay, so below this, or let's say above this, we kind of want to see some other stuff. Let's try a couple things. Actually, you can see the game description is not really scrolling well. That's because we want it to begin at probably 8 seconds, and then we would scroll it at approximately 8 speed. But we do want some metadata. A couple things, we do want maybe some images to round this out. We can do the community theme, community star rating. We can set this up to always use the community star rating binding or your own user rating. I believe it uses the your user rating first and then falls back to the community star rating. And I'm going to make it check a specific folder. Of course, I don't have that folder right now, so let's pull from another theme. No, gotta have one somewhere in my other themes, so let's take a look. Cover box is a good example. We use white. There it is. Don't need to change the name, so it should appear in here. So if I go to the folder, I'll go use my white star rating icons. Oh, and there we are. So we can lock this at a size, but use an auto size width. So I might do something like 50, and then we'll place that inside of our stack. So by doing that, it should place it in a good spot. And then we can put a margin. Okay. I'm almost thinking this should be smaller now. So let's do that. Let's make it like that. And let's put, what other metadata do we need? Let's just add a few pieces of metadata. I do like to see the genre. Auto size the font. So this would be genre. Now it looks like we're going to need a dock, so I'll probably put a dock here. put the community star rating inside of it, and then put the genre inside of it. And we'll take the dock and we will auto size it. And Garrug, do you know if there will be custom themes for LaunchBox Android? Yes, there will be themes for LaunchBox Android. So yeah, just stay patient. That's going to be a completely new theming engine that'll need to be created. And but it is on the list, so just keep an eye out there for it. It's something we definitely want, really bad. Okay. I'd love to give this sort of like a background like that. Maybe even for this, I'd almost want to give it a different color tint. So I could give it like a gray color tint. And then opacity mask itself. And of course now you're like, why would I ever do that? I can't even see anything. And that's because I'm thinking of adding a frame inside of here for the community theme creator, or for the community star images. A little buffer on the sides and the top. And then we will curve or round the corners. We should have the ability here, so I'll just do a slight curve. There's the scream that keeps appearing. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to double that. Alright, I think we're doing pretty good here. Pretty good. Okay, I'll stop fiddling with that, and then we'll go to the platform and do something very similar. So we'll copy the frame that I have here, we'll paste it again, we'll delete the extra community star rating, and then I'll drag the genre right into the frame. Okay, so far so good. The frame itself, I'm going to need to put a margin of maybe 15. We'll see. The other thing that I'll want to do is remove the corner radiuses. And the platform itself has a margin that I'll now need to remove. Instead, actually, I might put them back. Would love to center this. And we can make it bigger by making the community star rating height different. So 38, let's try that. That looks a bit better. I can probably raise it all the way to 40 if I wanted to. Okay. This is really silly. Let's paste a final one here. And we can change this to anything that we want. Platform, and let's just do the developer. Alright, then this whole stack could be put inside of a frame. We'll paste the layout. There it goes. And we'll give this a nice curvature. And we'll take that. I don't think I ever used this one. And we'll put the stack inside of it. And then I'll say, hey stack, just make it whatever size the frame is. And now I've got control over the padding inside of it. So let's put a nice .40. This itself also needs to be set to the exact same size as 656 minus 40, so 616 would have to be the size of that. Although for some reason it's smaller. I'm just doing the math wrong. Although there we go. And I'll push this down a bit. Too much. Alright. We could be playing endlessly with the colors. Let me see what I can do. I mean, what happens if it's all white? That looks not great. Of course, it would be cool if I took the community star rating and made it black. Off black. No, we'll stick with black. And then I will play around with this one to make it white. We'll see what we got. Not bad. And I think I'm just going to round this out with one more piece here. And that's with another text. And we can do any font that we want, really. I'll do something like this, and I'm gonna just put the platform so say the game platform. We'll create a dock, and that dock is just going to contain the words. This will be the game platform. We'll have a static words like for the and we should be able to just put a nice padding here. Get the dock to auto size to its... Actually, we don't want to do the width. So I'll make the width nice and long. And then move the dock up to the middle. We'll have to do the same thing for the text itself, so the game name also will need to be in a dock. We can actually use the same dock, to be honest. That's not true. But what we can do is we can use a stack. So we'll create a stack, and this will group everything together. So we can put the game name, and then these items we will center the items inside of this, and we'll make this as big as we need it to be. It can take up the whole space on the top. Just to make sure I'm doing that, I'm going to place the X position at 0 and then the width at 2560. So and I think we should be able to do one last thing that I think would be kind of funny. Let's see if I can think of how to do this properly. I'm going to create a canvas, and I'm going to put so we'll do full screen on the canvas. Let's just take a look. 658, 264. We'll do the same thing with the box image. And now that they're all together and grouped, I'm going to remind myself that thunder for the Screaming Man. Let's just take a look at the time. "32 seconds." And we're going to give it a similar flash. of animation. So we'll take the animation, we don't need this anymore, and then we don't need the rotations, I think. And we might reverse this, so we'll make this always appear. There we go. Just does a couple flashes. And the final thing, which I forgot to do, was take this rectangle, and now that I know where all of my elements are, I'm going to place this on top of all of my, maybe just above here. So this will be my lightning. We're going to do the same. We're going to do the same effect here for this lightning layer as well. But we're going to remove this, we're going to remove the rotations, then we'll see. So it's not there, and then it is there. Okay, let's see how that looks. I think overall we're doing pretty good, and I just need to duplicate this for the platform view, and we'll come and check it out. Our Halloween themed our Halloween themed theme, big box theme. Okay. I think I have this backwards. There we go. That'll fix it. Okay, so I think we're good. What did I call it? I called it dark and gloomy. Don't know why, but that's what it'll be called. Oh, I can actually turn on the audio here. Alright. See a couple issues, but I can solve those. And then there's one more scream. There it is. Okay. Let's solve these issues. So there is one issue with the lightning layer. I seem to not get rid of it, so we'll do a 32.5. We'll do an opacity, and this is the one where we will remove it. And then we're going to increase the size of this frame just by a little bit. There we go. Just to give it some space, and we will also increase the size of this. There we go. To give that some space. And there's something else that I have locked in here. Let's see. I think everything else looks okay, so I'll just save that out. And let's finally do what we need to do. So I'm going to delete this one, which we never used. So I'll go over to this view, we'll delete it, and then we'll go over to, we'll take what we have, paste it for a platform view. So copy this one, find platform view number 1, and we'll paste what we have, go in, change some of the elements. So this is a great way to get a quick platform view based off your game view. Some elements that we'll have to change is the game name. Will have to be changed to platform name. No, name. And the metadata will have to be updated to the platform name, which means I don't need the bottom there, but I could change that to Nintendo GameCube by, then I can change this to the menu, no, let's say the developer. There we go. And then down here, it's already changed most of what I wanted to have happen, so I can get rid of this one because I don't need that one. And let's see what other things I can give it. The total games count. And I'll just put games here. 550 games. Sure. There we go. And because I removed this one, I don't need a margin here anymore. And this game description, I can just increase the size to there. And, oh, one more thing that we could probably do here. We'll just use whatever LaunchBox has for images. So instead of box art, we'll just do banner image. We could add our own images and display them. In this case, I'll make it simple. No, there is a banner image, so I'll just use it. And here we go. So we've got it's a Nintendo GameCube by Nintendo, 550 games in my library, and a little description about it. So now we have both a games view and a platforms view. Let's publish it and see if it actually works properly. So we hit the publish button. It's building its little thing behind me, and I'm gonna mute this. So mute. You can hear my voice sort of dying on me from this month-long sickness. But I think we have a really nice Halloween theme that there's a couple things. Oh, you know what? I forgot one more thing that I'd like to do for you guys. Let me just set this here. One last thing that I don't think I've ever shown off, and that is we do have the ability to have custom sounds for the movement sound. So like select, back, and move, and startup. And I'll show you how to do that. So within the community theme creator, you can embed those sounds inside of your theme, and it'll just display those sounds only for users using your theme. So I thought Halloween, I can have Halloween kind of not spooky sounds. I don't want it to be annoying, but just like creepy stuff going on when you're moving. And so I put together some not really creepy sounds, but sounds of movement. And I'm going to go to this theme. What did I call it? Dark and Gloomy. And you'll notice a sounds folder here. Inside of it, it's just empty. What it really needs is... I should have it open already, you know. Here it is. What it really needs is a folder structure, and that folder structure is back, move, select, and startup. You can see this. If you're forgetting what the folder structure is, you can go to any of your builds. You can go in LaunchBox into sounds, and we have a multi-sound default pack that will show you the structure. And inside of that, the file names can be whatever you want, but they do need to be in a WAV format, I believe. So I just put like one sound for back and start, and then in here I put a bunch of footstep sounds. It's gonna sound like somebody's walking while you go through your game. And I'm gonna take all of these and I'm gonna put them in here. By putting them in this community theme creator project files, it will publish those files with your theme. So now when I hit publish, those sounds will come with it. And now I can load up and see what it sounds like. Now I'm gonna lower the sound of my Halloween music. And Riaz, how you doing? Oh, there's an update. Yeah, there's a beta update, isn't there? 550 GameCube games, yeah. There's a lot, but I mean, that I believe I only took the US games. I only have the US games. So I believe there's like 550 US released games, so something like that anyway. Okay, let's switch over to the theme that I just published, to my folder, Dark and Gloomy. There it is. I mean, let's see how much of it actually applies to our big box. There's a couple things I'm going to need to do. Oh, you can see my sounds up and down have changed. So that worked. We'll go to sounds. I do have sounds pretty low, so I'm going to raise them up so that you guys can hear them without it straining your ears. So here we go. That's going to make me laugh every single time. Pretty good, pretty good. And there's one more in there, right? Jump in here, go through some games. So it's working well. So you can get scared while browsing through Disney's Donald Duck Goes Going Quackers. or The Incredibles. And it sounds like somebody's walking through grass as you're navigating. But in total, even though we got all these gimmicks and stuff in there, it's still a theme that can be used. And it's got all the things that you would want in a theme. Right? Nothing's missing. So, yeah, can be used during Halloween season. How about that? So in total, we talked about how to put background music embed it into your theme, how to associate sounds with your animation, how to put sounds of your menu sounds, embed that in themes, and how to really play with the fog, the animation, and with the fog and all that stuff, and figure out. You can see how tricky when we went through that part in the beginning, how tricky that could be. But in total, I think we got a pretty good look out of it. We turned, whose was it? Someone's backyard, and we turned it into a Halloween scene. So can't complain about that. Hopefully you guys have a good Halloween. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.